That night, after discovering Emma's hidden phone, I lay awake beside her, my mind racing. Her breathing remained steady, oblivious to the fact that everything had changed. I wanted to shake her, demand the truth, force her to admit what I already knew. But I didn't. Instead, I turned onto my side and stared at the ceiling, my fingers clenched into tight fists beneath the covers. Anger wouldn't serve me. Not yet. I needed more than just vague suspicions and a locked phone to dismantle her carefully built deception. Over the next few days, I watched her more closely than ever. Emma moved differently now, lighter, more carefree, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. She smiled at her phone more often, giggled at unseen messages, and hummed while getting dressed. It was sickening. 15 years together, and I couldn't recall the last time she had looked at me with such excitement. Whatever she felt for Nathan had reignited something inside her, something she no longer shared with me. But if she thought she could discard me so easily, she was mistaken. One evening, I pretended to fall asleep early on the couch. She sat beside me, scrolling through her phone, occasionally biting her lip as she read something. A message from him, no doubt. Then, after a few minutes, she stood, stretched, and whispered, "I'm going to take a bath." My eyelids remained shut as I listened to her footsteps disappear down the hallway. I gave it 5 minutes before rising quietly and making my way toward the bedroom. The second phone she had hidden wasn't in its usual spot. No surprise there. She was growing more careful. But I knew Emma better than anyone. Her habits, her patterns, the way she functioned. A woman addicted to secrecy doesn't stray too far from her lifeline. I checked the drawer in her vanity, empty. Her purse, only receipts and makeup. Then my gaze landed on her nightstand. I opened it slowly, scanning the contents until I spotted the sleek black device tucked beneath a book. My pulse remained steady as I lifted it. No password this time. She must have disabled it for convenience. Foolish. I navigated to her messages. The conversation with Nathan was pinned at the top, filled with an endless stream of texts. Nathan, I can't stop thinking about last night. The way you feel, the way you taste. Emma, you make me feel alive. I need you. Nathan, when can I see you again? Emma, soon. He's leaving town next weekend. We'll have the whole house to ourselves. A chill ran through me. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning to bring him into our home, our bed, the place we had built together. That was the moment something inside me truly snapped. I returned the phone exactly where I found it and slipped out of the room before she could finish her bath. Emma had no idea that I had just sentenced her to ruin, and she never saw it coming. The days leading up to my so-called business trip were filled with silent calculations. I continued acting the part, smiling when required, pretending to be the oblivious husband. Meanwhile, Emma floated through our home with a smug, almost liberated energy. She thought she was winning. She had no idea I was watching her every move. I installed hidden cameras in strategic locations, our bedroom, living room, even the hallway leading to the front door. Not a single moment of her betrayal would go undocumented. Then I played my final move before leaving. At dinner, I casually mentioned, I might have to extend my trip. A few last-minute meetings popped up. Emma barely concealed her excitement. "Oh? That's a shame," she said, her voice just a little too neutral. She was already planning her night with him. I excused myself early, claiming exhaustion. From the bedroom, I heard her send a text. "He's leaving Friday morning. Come afternoon. I'll be waiting." I smirked in the darkness. Friday morning, I packed my bags, kissed Emma goodbye, and left the house as scheduled. But instead of heading to the airport, I drove to a small motel 15 minutes away, where I set up my laptop and connected to the live security feed. The waiting game began. At exactly 12:30 p.m., a sleek black car pulled into my driveway. Nathan stepped out, stretching his arms before casually walking to the front door. Emma greeted him like a giddy teenager, pulling him inside before even checking if the coast was clear. I watched as they laughed, kissed, shed their clothing with desperate hunger. My pulse remained steady. I wasn't watching as a broken man, I was watching as a hunter tracking his prey. They didn't just defile my bed. They did it in every space we once shared, their lack of shame fueling my growing resolve. For hours I recorded their affair, ensuring I had every angle, every sound, every incriminating detail. By evening, I had enough. I shut the laptop, leaned back, and smiled. Tomorrow, the real game would begin. Saturday morning. I returned home as if nothing had happened. Emma greeted me at the door, her hair still damp from the shower, masking any evidence of her sins. "You're back early," she chirped, forcing an innocent smile. "Yeah, plans changed," I said, dropping my bag. She hesitated for a fraction of a second, eyes scanning my face for suspicion. I gave her none. That night, as she lay beside me, scrolling through her phone, likely texting Nathan about their next rendezvous, I stared at the ceiling with a smirk. She had no idea. She thought she had won, but by tomorrow she'd realize just how wrong she was. The morning sun painted golden streaks across the bedroom walls. Emma stirred beside me, stretching lazily as though the past 24 hours had been nothing but ordinary. I lay still, staring at the ceiling, replaying the betrayal I had watched unfold through my screen. Today was the day. Rising from bed, I moved with practiced calm, heading downstairs to brew coffee. The scent drifted through the air as I poured 2 mugs, placing one on the counter just as Emma entered the kitchen. She was wrapped in her silk robe, her expression neutral, unaware, unbothered, unchanged. I took a slow sip. "Did you enjoy your weekend?" She paused mid-step. "What?" I turned to face her fully, leaning against the counter. "I asked if you enjoyed your weekend." My tone was casual, my eyes unwavering. Emma's fingers twitched around her coffee mug. "It was fine. The usual." A smirk curled at my lips. "The usual," I echoed, letting the words hang. "You sure about that?" Her face paled slightly. "Yes. Why wouldn't I be?" Reaching into my pocket, I retrieved my phone, tapping the screen. I held it up so she could see. The video started playing. Her moans, Nathan's whispered filth, their bodies entwined in every room of our house. Emma's mug slipped from her grasp, shattering against the floor. Her face drained of color. What is that?" I chuckled darkly. "Oh, don't play dumb now, sweetheart. That's you. That's Nathan. And that's my bed you defiled." She shook her head violently. This isn't what it looks like. I cut her off. "Spare me." Tapping again, I sent the files. Her phone vibrated on the counter, a notification popping up. "Sent to Nathan, your mother, my lawyer, and just for fun, a few of your friends." Emma gasped, lunging for her phone, but I was faster. I snatched it away and held it high. "You thought you could play me?" I laughed bitterly. "For months I let you dig your own grave. You didn't even try to hide it well. You thought I was a fool." Tears welled in her eyes, desperation creeping into her voice. "I never meant to hurt you, I swear. You didn't mean to get caught." Her knees buckled, and she collapsed onto a chair. "Please, we can fix this." I let out a low, amused hum. "Fix it? Oh, Emma, there's nothing left to fix. You see, I've already made sure you get absolutely nothing in the divorce." Her breath hitched. "No, you wouldn't." "I would." And I did. I pulled out a thick envelope and tossed it onto the table. "These? Legal documents. You get no house, no savings, no alimony. I transferred everything weeks ago. Oh, and your precious Nathan." I leaned in, lowering my voice to a whisper. "Let's just say he's in for a nasty surprise, too." Her lips trembled. What do you mean? I grinned. You'll find out soon enough. Emma sobbed, gripping the papers as if they could rewrite reality. I made a mistake. I stepped back, adjusting my watch. No, Emma. You made a choice. She had dismissed me as if 15 years meant nothing. Now she'd finally understand what it meant to lose everything. Emma sat frozen at the kitchen table, her hands trembling over the divorce papers. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but they meant nothing to me. Not anymore. You can't do this, she whispered, her voice hollow. 15 years and you're just throwing me away. I chuckled, slow and deliberate. Throwing you away. No, Emma. You did that yourself the moment you spread your legs for Nathan. Her face twisted in anguish. I still love you, I scoffed. Love? Is that what you were feeling when you moaned his name in our bed? When you told him you needed him? I leaned down, voice dropping to a lethal whisper. You weren't thinking of me then, and now I don't think of you at all. She choked back a sob, gripping my sleeve. Please, don't do this. We can fix it. I'll end it with him. I'll do anything. Just don't leave me like this. I yanked my arm away. You don't have a choice, Emma. It's done. I turned toward the door, leaving her broken in the wreckage of her own making. But before I left, I decided to deliver the final nail in her coffin. Oh, and by the way, I said, pausing at the threshold, Nathan, he's not picking up your calls anymore. Her head jerked up. What? I pulled out my phone, tapping the screen one last time. A video played. Nathan, sweating bullets as he sat in his office, his face pale as a ghost. Please, man, you don't have to do this. My voice responded, calm and deadly. Oh, but I do. You see, when you sleep with another man's wife, there are consequences. Your company? Gone. The job? Over. The promotion you thought you had? That's mine now. Nathan's panicked eyes darted around the screen. Please, I didn't mean for this to happen. I chuckled. Neither did I. But here we are. The video ended, and Emma sat in stunned silence. You ruined him? She whispered. I smirked. Oh no, Emma. You ruined him. You ruined everything. I just cleaned up the mess. She collapsed into herself, sobbing, her world crashing around her. What am I supposed to do now? I opened the front door, letting the morning sun flood the room. I inhaled the crisp air of freedom. That's not my problem anymore. And with that, I walked away, never looking back.